White enamel. This is a game during which you wander around an abandoned psychiatric hospital. During your wanderings, a creepy old man singing sounds, which even a person with nerves of steel can throw off balance. The game is very frightening. Many players believe that the shooting is real. Others claim that they feel like the heroes of a horror movie. The game is clearly not for the faint of heart. Plane crash info. This is a very heartbreaking source of information about the victims of plane crashes, about their last words, with all the reports, statistics, photos, as well as audio recordings of the last moments before the crash of the aircraft. There are also reports of pilots and passengers, descriptions of incidents. It is painful and hard to read this, because the heart bleeds at the sight of what these people had to face. Mundo. This site tells about all the attempts to catch various mythical creatures like Yeti, Chupacabra, sea serpent, etc. The site is quite creepy. It very plausibly describes encounters with these creatures around the world. Like it or not, you begin to believe in numerous theories about the existence of other worlds and something unknown. Hashima Island. Once on this site, you find yourself in the forgotten world of Hashima Island, a creepy abandoned Japanese place with a scary story. Back in 1959, there were people on the island. Their number was 5,259 people. However, in 1974, the island's coal mines were closed, and residents one by one left it. Today Hashima is a Japanese ghost island. There is a famous stairway to hell on the site, a descent into the ground. There are also recent photos of abandoned coal mines, which evoke an inexplicable horror. Death map. On this site, all deaths that occur in the world are displayed in real time. You select a country and immediately red dots appear on it, which indicate deaths. At the same time, green dots appear indicating births. So you have the opportunity to observe birth and death in the world. Moreover, each death is indicated by a symbol that indicates the religious affiliation of the deceased. For example, in the case of Christians, it is a cross. Such a site is very depressing. Death date. By visiting this site, you will be able to calculate the exact date of your departure to the other world. However, if you are interested, you will have to share your personal data. Then the exact date of death will appear before your eyes, and at the same time the counter of the remaining time. It is unclear how much you can trust this site, but it will definitely immerse you in not quite healthy thoughts about your own care. Is there anything scarier? Bangchendong Ghost. This is a webcomic which is better not to look for in Google, especially at night. He is considered one of the scariest online comics, and that's a lot. The text of the comic is entirely in Korean, but the illustrations are so clear and frank that a person can easily get scared. At the beginning of the story, a girl walks along a deserted street who meets a very strange man on her way. Then the situation only gets worse. The name of the ghost is also the name of the poorest district of Seoul in South Korea. The fifth nail exposed. This is a very scary site that is completely dedicated to the life of convicted rapist and murderer Joseph Duncan. The site has texts written by the killer himself, who committed his crimes in the 1970s and who is still behind bars. From there, he also sends messages to the author of this blog. This is a very creepy site that looks into the soul of a pervert and a dangerous 55-year-old villain. Death row information. This site contains all sorts of information about capital punishment, which is obtained directly from the Texas Department of Corrections. Here you can find data on all executions carried out throughout history, about criminals and their last words. There is also information about those who are currently living in anticipation of execution, to get acquainted with their criminal cases and see when their execution will take place approximately. In fact, this is a real calendar of executions. Darwin Time. This is a very crazy website that is dedicated to various conspiracy theories. They talk about everything in the world: Hitler, September 11th, Woodstock, etc. The site is made extremely carelessly. There are a lot of scary pictures, text overlaid on top, and hundreds of working hyperlinks. A Twitter account linked to the site has been blocked due to creepy content. The Skyway Bridge. This site stores the history of all suicides that have been committed since the fourth most popular American bridge, located in the state of Florida, on its west coast. There is information about tragic deaths here, as well as data about every person who threw himself off the bridge. This source contains a history of suicides, where all the dead and saved are listed. Here the probability of death in the event of a jump from a bridge is calculated. A Columbine Site. This site contains all the information about the tragic event at the Columbine School in Colorado, which occurred almost 20 years ago on April 20, 1999. Then 2 high school students opened fire, killing 12 people and wounding 21 more. There are detailed descriptions of the mass murder, the murderers' movement routes, and videos with them. Both committed suicide. 100% human skin. This British website sells various products made of real human skin. The source of raw materials is voluntary wills of people. The assortment includes bags, shoes, wallets, and belts. Perhaps this is the most terrible rating site. Once you see these products, you will not be able to forget it for a long time. Last Meals Project. This site is more likely to make you think than to be afraid. It offers visitors photos of people sentenced to death in the United States, and the foods they chose for their last dinner, different preferences, but such similar destinies. The Beatles never broke up. A rather ambiguous website, the author of which claims that he got into a parallel world where the legendary band the Beatles never broke up and continues to play. From there, he delivered their latest album, which can be downloaded or listened to directly on the website. But will you have the courage to do it?